Are you ready, nerds?
Yeah, I Captain.
I don't know.
You don't like that one?
I got it.
You don't like that?
I'm with
Hey.
I think I've heard that before somewhere, but
No, that's original, man. Like that's fine. Anyway, welcome back to the show. We're your hosts. I'm your boy Snake.
Hammer.
Bingo D in the house.
Yeah.
Yoshi.
All right. Well, we actually got a special show today. We actually have a good friend of mine. We're going to have a special guest in the house. We're going to interview him and then have a good show.
Yes, sir.
So we have I'm going to go ahead and bring him in on the show with us and introduce him.
So
Do what?
I said I do a drum roll, but you can't hear it. So
Go ahead, everybody do it. Can you do that?
I don't have anything to drum on. I don't have anything right here.
Is that a good drum roll? Can't push the invite though, doing it at the same time. So
I'll just do the
spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers.
Let's do snaps.
Yeah, there you go. Snaps.
Actually drink.
All right, I'm gonna bring him in.
Oh, I like to just
Welcome to Fox to the show.
Just
He's
Fox.
should be connecting.
It's connecting audio. Oh,
Maybe. We got some audio.
Yeah, I can hear y'all now.
Oh,
Hey.
audio, and there's a word.
got the video.
Nice.
We get some video.
We're gonna get video, maybe.
He's hiding.
Maybe.
He's playing hide and seek with us. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, there's something starting. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I was all talking, but I didn't see a video. I was like, oh, there's the video.
Fox in the house.
Hey, let it be known. I'm gonna say it. First ever guest on the show, Mr. Michael Fox. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm
Excited to be here.
This is
no.
it is
Michael
in the world.
First subscriber.
He was our
First subscriber
to the show. So only right to
guest.
have him as the first guest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go ahead and start asking the questions since I'm more closer to him and I know more.
So
Okay, cool. We're gonna kick off questions.
So is this a drawing right now? Like what we're seeing, is this like an active drawing? Am I like right now? Do you draw yourself right now on video for us to see right now? Is this what this is?
No.
I didn't expect that question, did you?
No.
No, probably not.
Anyway.
Absolutely not. So we don't bombard him. I mean, we can give a little background that way people understand. Michael here. Wow.
I did try to do a Harley Quinn for Tyler today. Try to do some airbrushing. Kind of botched it.
Hey man, it's art. It's sometimes you gotta try a couple.
Totally botched it.
Oh, man, it looks
How
good.
is that botched?
You can look at it, like totally ripped off a lot of the paper when I was trying to take off the masking, but it's all right. It's first time trying to do that.
It still looked amazing.
In case all y'all didn't know, Michael is an artist.
Michael actually had his own show, his own channel. It's The Art of Fox. Go.
Yeah. We do a lot of stuff over there. A lot of people will request things and commission stuff like that. Right now, I'm working on a couple of comics. One of my buddies from New York just shot me a script, so that's gonna be pretty cool.
Man, that is awesome.
I guess since they're in quarantine up there, like complete quarantine,
yeah.
he's just shooting out scripts.
So tell us a little bit about how did you what got you started into art? Like how long have you been drawing? Like
we used to draw all the time back in high school when we were bored. You know, instead of doing math problems or drawing and doodling and stuff like that, but nothing really serious. And then, man, really, I don't know. Just started doodling stuff like that. And then my wife got me a Wacom tablet.
Mhm.
I started using that. And then Tyler told me to start. Well, actually, Day gave me the Day stare and told me to start doing conventions and stuff.
I know this stare.
So, oh yes, anybody that
Yeah.
knows Daisha knows the stare.
Day is
Like
Tyler's wife, by the way.
Yeah, you wake up and you're like, I just have to do this. I can't have that stare at me anymore.
Yeah, I saw I think it was basically whenever we first saw his drawings, I'm like, bro, you need to do this. You need to set up a booth. Like, how many cons have you done so far? Like, Comic Cons?
I think we've done 4. We were supposed to the Permanent Base in Comic Con was gonna be our 5th, but that canceled. Like everything, that was a really sad thing. Everything was set up, everything was ready, and then the people holding the convention called us and canceled because of the coronavirus.
Is that the one? Is that the one that canceled like the night before? Like everybody went there.
No, it was the day up.
Oh, the
Like,
yeah,
the day
that's
up.
right.
Like, because he had the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the con. And Friday was like for the VIPs. It was gonna be from like 5 to 10. We went up there that afternoon, set everything up, met people. Everything was great. We went and grabbed some drinks and stuff, and then we got the phone call. Hey, we're coming to your table. We need to break down your table. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So we got up there and
The table,
yes.
everything?
So yeah,
we
we had everything set up. I think it was around 3 or 4 o'clock when we shut down, like an hour before the convention was actually going to start.
yeah.
Man,
There's another guy that was gonna do that same con. He was telling me that they got shut down like the day of. He was upset, man. He was
Yeah, and I know Chris. Shout out to Chris Slaytosh. I mean, he does really good with these conventions, and I know that he was holding out. He wasn't going to shut it down, but then when the governor put out his governor mandate, of course, he went by the
point. Yeah.
So
But he's already bounced back. I think he emailed us and said that the Permanent Basic Comic Con is going to be in September.
Sweet.
I think. Yeah, so it'll bounce back. Same center and everything, so it'll be good.
Speaking of, Fan Expo up here is supposed to be in June.
Oh, they did put a date finally?
It's still kind of tentative right now, so it's supposed to be June. Hopefully it'll actually go through. They sent out a questionnaire to me, what would you want? Like, would you want social distancing? Would you pay for a photo op even if you had to stand 6 feet away from the person? Different stuff like that.
Well, that can prevent you from being sexually assaulted by individuals. So
Speaking of, you brought it up.
So that's actually a funny story. Like a couple years ago,
Momoa.
A couple years ago, we went to the permit. Was it last year with the Dallas Fan Expo or the year before?
I think it was
like
year before.
I think it was like 2 years ago, and Jason Momoa was there. I didn't really know that he was a big practical joker. My wife, Day, and Tyler, they all knew. Well, I had a photo op with him, and while we're at the photo op, we're standing side by side next to each other. I put my arm around him, and then right before they take the photo, Jason Momoa with his gorilla-sized hands just slaps my ass. I mean, I'm talking about full grip of cheek. And so I jump up like this, and then the photo's taken. Jason Momoa looks all cool like this, and I'm like this. Totally ruined the photo.
The look on his face was like,
oh man. Classic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was amazing. I laughed so hard. So, Michael, what does it take whenever you get to set up for the cons and stuff? Like, what is that process? What do they make you do
when you set up?
Yeah, like
when we go to set up, so you first, like, either they'll reach out to you or you reach out to them to see if you're going to go to the convention or not. I've had a couple conventions reach out to me and ask me if I want to participate, and then I myself have reached out to other conventions. Anyways, once you get the table and everything like that, they'll email you a setup date and times. So you go in there, when you walk in, tell them your name. They have a map of where you're going to be at. They give you your pass and everything. And then you go and you set up your table. Amanda always helps me to set up. It's an 8-foot table. I have a tablecloth that converts from 8 foot to 6 foot, depending on the size of the table. And then once we set everything up, then the convention doesn't. We usually set up a few hours actually before the convention actually starts. Sometimes the day before, because I mean they're really good about security and no one's gonna mess with your stuff. And the really cool thing about conventions is that like it's real intimidating when you first come in there, because you'll see like all kinds of people with awesome artwork, awesome stuff, and then you're just like, man, I'm limited. But then those guys are super nice, and everybody starts talking to you. Then you make a lot of contacts, and then those people end up passing your name out to other people, and then other conventions start reaching out to you, and you're like, who is these people from New York reaching out to me? Like, oh, I'm friends with such and such. I met him at this convention, who met you at this convention. It's like, oh, it's pretty cool. Like you all start integrating and
your artwork,
networking.
I'm pretty sure they'll be reaching out to you. You're freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate
how long does
that.
it take you to do a piece? Like,
man, like a digital artwork, anywhere from like, I'd say 3 to 6 hours, depending on the complexity of the piece. And then traditional, like traditional is a lot more. Like that Harley Quinn I did for you, that was traditional. Like this, I penciled this, sketched this, and then you use Copic markers on it. And that, I think just the sketching and inking took me a little over an hour and a half. And then like another 2 or 3 hours trying to figure out how to airbrush, which is not as easy as it looks on YouTube. But.
Well,
hey, Fox, have you ever made anything original artwork, anything that's your own, not,
Yeah. Like I started a comic called My Deadly Love. I think I have it somewhere here. But that's all mine, all original. So let me see if I can pull these up. I don't know if you can share stuff on Zoom.
Yeah, you should be able to.
I've never used Zoom before, so.
Are you using it on your phone or your tablet?
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Domingo, you use your phone, right? Is there a screen option?
Not from where
on mine. I have a screen share.
Oh, because you're hosting the party, so you can do a screen share?
Well, I mean, everybody should.
From the PC has a screen share.
Yeah, I think the PC does, not the phone.
I thought phones had them too.
I wonder if I can join y'all from my iPad and show you that. But yeah, like I'm getting my comics about done. We were gonna have it done and printed out and everything for the Fan Expo or for the Permian Basin, but both of those canceled. So
yeah.
So
what would you say your style of drawing is like? Is it more of like a like noir comic, or more of like a new school Japanese, or like Rick and Morty type?
No, I mean it's more traditional comic art. I mean, a lot of my stuff before was leaning more towards like the Japanese anime style. And I try to get away from that, but that's just a terrible habit to break, because I grew up like watching Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff, and that's the easiest stuff to draw. Yeah. Like the easiest stuff. I mean, everybody doodled with Goku in high school. If you didn't, you're lying. everybody doodled Goku. So I mean, that was like the hardest one to break. Was trying to, and it's mainly just the facial features.
Yeah, you can't really see it very well, but.
That's pretty dope. I like it.
Yeah, that's gonna be my comic, man. If you go to my Instagram, you can check out all that stuff.
What's your Instagram?
It's Art of MJFOX. Check that out.
I'll put a link in the description of the video.
Put that down there in the description.
Ready? What question you
got? I guess if I were to ask, like when you sit down You know, you got your mind clear. What you want to do is empty palette. You know, everything's clean. Like what is the process going in? Like, do you read a script first, or you just kind of like you have like a
As
thought
far
process?
as far as what? Like if
As
you're wanting
like,
to do like a comic,
yeah, like
or
if
if
you
you're
want
wanting to just draw something.
if you want to draw a comic and just you're just gonna sit down and do it. Would you read the script first, or would you just kind of like get maybe a rundown of what the character's supposed to be like and just kind of take off with draw a few versions? Or
Scripts are the best. Like if you're gonna do a script, it makes it way easier to do anything. Look, I'm trying to connect to my iPad so I can show this to you.
yeah, because I like I was just looking at your cover for your
There you go.
there it is.
There you go.
Yeah,
So like here is my Daily Love comic, man.
Oh man, that's
And
awesome.
see, this is all me. This first comic is called My Daily Love. It's called Love at First Sight. So basically, this guy here, Damon, he's in a terrible car accident, and he ends up pretty much almost dying. And Debria, she's the angel of death. She comes to him while he's on his deathbed, and of course, you can see she's very seductive or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to die? Go ahead, big boy. Right? You know.
But see, like you'll see later on, he doesn't realize that she's actually like she leaves here, and this right here is the next day, of course, and he's asking the nurse about her, and they have no idea what he's talking about. But then she comes back when the other person's about to die in the next room. It's pretty legit. I mean, I like it.
Can you go back to that?
Of course, I'm pretty.
Right here.
I'm gonna need you.
I like how you did the.
I know exactly why you wanted to come to this page.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
I want to know about what inspires you to do the red bubbling for her. Like, is that specifically to let the viewers know that she's dead, or?
Well, you see,
like, what kind of choice is that?
One of my buddies, Joey, he's got a comic called Trouble's Back comic. It's a really good comic. I think you should check it out. But he helped me out a lot on the different lettering. Like I talked to him about the different kind of lettering, caption art, and stuff like that. And both him and my buddy Caleb Mendez told me to make her text different than like his, for example. You know,
it shows like a evil kind of demonic.
Yeah. And see this right here. This was going to be a short comic of her also. I started doing it yesterday because I was bored. It was going to be with coronavirus.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
You know, it kind of, I don't know, like it's kind of reminding me a little kind of like Big Head. Have y'all seen that?
Yes.
That cartoon?
Yes.
Like as far as you got the sex monster or the not the sex monster, like what they call the hormone monster.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be one of my webtoons. So one of my buddies just got me into D&D. I used to always make fun of it like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's actually a really cool game. Like it's like a really like cool storyline game. But so I was gonna make a web comic off of that, and these were gonna be my characters.
It's awesome.
I like it because it reminds me of something that you could probably watch on like Cartoon Network. Have you ever seen like some of their animation?
And then this is going to be one of my comics on Patreon. So if you sign on to my Patreon, you'll be able to have access to this comic.
Okay. So what's your Patreon?
It's Art of MJFOX also.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll have access to that, and it has different levels to where like depending on what you are on the Patreon, you can like suggest different things. This right here is the character art for my buddy in New York, his script that he sent me.
Yeah, that's good work. That is awesome work.
So question, so right now most of the stories that seem like you're doing more like I don't know if in the anime world they call it slice of life. There's not it's not necessarily like a shonen or or any of that?
Yeah,
Like more.
I don't. Yeah, I don't do a lot of. Well, I mean, I do have some combat. Here's one that I was practicing webtoons. I don't know if you've ever seen webtoons, but they're incredibly hard for me to make. But see, at first I pieced it like this, but then I put it together. And once I put it together, it's like this.
Oh, that's awesome. So what are you using? Is it
this right here? No, this right here is on Procreate. I use Procreate and Clip Studio. I mean, I do have Photoshop also, but the only time I ever use Photoshop is to slice.
Nice.
So real quick, while we're looking at your art, because today is Goku Day.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Little go ahead and pull up the Dragon Ball. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got that. I got that.
That's really nice.
Like that right there.
Whoa, is that the new Broly?
I think that was the Broly from the Broly movie.
That's the new Broly.
Yeah,
Wow.
That Broly right there.
But see, this is where like a lot of people and I don't get along. Like I prefer Vegeta over Gogeta. So
yeah, same here. Same here.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Yeah.
I put Vegito in there instead because I just think it would have been more fun to have Vegito in there with Broly.
I think he's so much stronger. I mean, but people can debate that later.
Might still happen.
Yeah,
it would be cool.
You have any Ultra Instinct drawings or no?
No, I mean I have like some DC Marvel.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh man.
Awesome. I remember that comic. That's really good. Oh, that's awesome. Spider-Man. Scarlet Spider. Yeah.
You know what?
Spider-Gwen.
Anytime I see anybody from that Spider-Man movie, the animated one that just came out, that's what I say because I try to keep the song out of my head. At the beginning of the movie, the sunflower, it gets stuck in my head every time. It never fails. And my kids like this one.
That's funny. That's funny.
You have any questions, Ethan?
Wow.
Yeah. Are you doing this as your professional job right now, or you have another job outside of this?
No, man. This is like just my hobby. I mean, I have a consulting firm, and I also work for an operating company in the oil field. Mm-hmm. And then we also own a gym here in Midland, Odessa. This right here, it's really just a hobby.
Free time.
Yeah, it's more like a hobby. Wow. I see this right here is like a little.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that. I like that.
What did you say, Micheal?
Well, Fox, if this ever took off, where you can make the exact amount you're making from the gym, the oil field, or more, would you consider maybe not the gym per se, because like you jacked over, like you like really bulky. I'm trying myself, but if would you like leave the oil field and all the other stuff alone and primarily make this your job if you were able to make that much more?
Man, it would always be a dream to do art as a living. I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, is that my hero?
Because
this is my hero. Wow.
Because it's not really like working. I mean, you do this stuff for fun, and like if you're able to make money off of it, then yeah, it's just all kinds of fun.
Okay, you got to go back to some of these because you had the Flash versus Ida, you had Superman versus All Might. Just that in itself.
Yeah, I like that Flash.
Those
put that up and have people vote on who they think will win, and you can draw that, and that's crazy.
The last con we went to with him that he was at, that was a big seller that they had.
Yeah, it was the Plus Ultra Con that we did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. That's awesome.
I tell you, I can look at his art all freaking day. Like, I freaking love it. Like, I've got to catch myself sometimes just be on your art page just scrolling, trying to work. I'm like, shit, I gotta go.
This is my buddy's comic. I did some like fan art for his comic. This right here, he asked me to do. He uses that as like a cover and a poster.
Spoiler alert, that is the exact comic that was sent.
Really?
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
Small world.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
Ray, go ahead and tell us about that, Ray.
I was
Tell
supposed
us
to
what's
tell
going
Fox.
on.
So this
You
right here, my buddy
mentioned
Joey asked
Joey.
me.
Since we were kids. I've known him since we were kids, man.
So my buddy Joey asked me to do this for him. That guy's like the villain from his first issue, and he wanted to do them wrestling. So I did that. And of course, I put myself as the referee.
So Mike,
that was funny.
That is you.
Mike, hold up.
And then when his issue 3 was coming out, I did a lot of fan art for his issue 3, but with my original character. So I did the Bria holding his issue 3.
This is actually pretty crazy because we're actually going to be talking to him pretty soon, actually. Like he sent us a copy of his comics we're gonna read and actually interview him next.
Yeah, so my buddy I was telling you, Caleb, he actually did the cover to this issue 3 comic that Joey put out. And so Caleb actually did that cover art, and then I did my cover art of it.
So I'm gonna ask the question: how long have you been knowing Joey? Because Ray knows Joey, and I'll run in the same circles.
What's really funny is that I didn't really know Joey. I knew Joey because he posted some stuff about his comic, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I did like an old fan art of his comic, and then that's how we started talking. And then what's funny is that what's funny is that one of my best friends, him and Jared Hodgkin were like really good friends.
I know that.
See, yeah, and then Joey gave me the idea for this comic. This one's pretty funny. So like this guy right here, he looks like he's working really hard and all this and this and this, but he's really just fantasizing everything that's going on. It's pretty funny because later on he actually wakes up, he spills coffee on his lap, and he wakes him up. and he's not a hard worker. He's actually really lazy. But see, I'm still working on this. See, this is all the penciling. See, the inking stops there, and then there's the penciling.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
But Joey actually gave me the idea for this one.
Yeah, Joey's
How long
good.
does it take to do the comics?
To do the comic?
Yeah, like all this. Like it just seems like it'd take forever.
They actually sometimes do take a while. Like, let me see that one page right there. We can actually see this is up. See, like this right here is 3 hours and 51 minutes.
Just for that page?
Wow.
And that's not including the penciling.
Golly.
Because I did a lot of the penciling on this one in Comic Draw.
Okay. I was just gonna ask you, do you draw on paper first and then convert it to your iPad, or?
I used to, but then it just, if you're gonna do comic, you have to be able to upload everything, and it just became a lot easier to do it traditionally. I mean, to do it digitally instead of traditionally.
It makes
sense.
You
use your iPad for everything.
Yeah, I used to use my Wacom, but the iPad's a lot lighter and easier to carry. So
that takes a lot of skill to do using a digital drawing. Like,
I heard the Surface Pro is pretty good too.
Such good work. Yeah, it kind of lets you know. Coach Tyler knows. Tyler, Tyler used to live here. Just kind of let you know how small Odessa is. It's prime example right there. Because I've known Joey, golly, man, since we used to. I mean, like the Boys and Girls Club. We used to play basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a long time. And
go way back.
Back in the gap.
It's kind of crazy because he reached out, and right around the same time that Tyler told me about you coming on and doing this, and I was like, man, it's crazy. And then you guys know each other, and it's just kind of a weird. It's small town. That's all it is.
Yeah, I like how you say small town. Where I come from, it's a small town.
Yeah, we don't. We're bigger than where Mr. Yoshi down here, Ethan is
Oh,
from.
this is a time lapse replay. That's awesome. So we get to see how. Wow.
So Mike, well,
That's cool.
for people that are wanting to get into doing the drawing, like, what do you have any? Would you have any advice of what to do or how to do it? Go about doing it.
There's no real easy way, man. I watch a lot of YouTube tutorials, honestly, but then I draw every single day though too. I'm like, even my wallet's a sketch pad.
That's
I
dope.
mean,
So in other words,
Yeah.
they have to have the passion for it first. They have to have the passion to
well,
want to draw.
that's a given. I mean, you're gonna have to want to do it.
Yeah,
There's
I like to draw, but I can't just draw. Like, I'm more of a human copy machine. Like, I can look at something and and draw it, and I can make it smaller or bigger, but I can't just off freehand anything. Like,
Yeah, I got you.
That's a good question. It's a question in my head, but Tyler made me think of it. Well, so when did you know that you were able to draw freehand your first time? And you like, you know what? I'm just gonna create this random person thing in my head because like you said, everyone started out copying like Goku or Batman or whatever. But when did you know it's like, oh, this guy in my head, I'm gonna just draw him on paper because it's in my head. When did you know?
A lot of them, you don't even like make up drawing in your head. Like these right here, I probably sketched out something like 6 or 7 times before we actually landed on the character.
Gotcha. So it's like a trial and error thing, and then you just have a base of something. Okay. Yeah, because I saw like artists before that like do the ones who do when you hear about them doing like Jack Kirby or whatever, they talk about Marvel and DC or whatnot. They talk about how they would look at each other's different artwork and they would kind of go off. Oh, I like his Batman art, so I'm a sketch based off his Batman art, and then eventually they create their own. So that's interesting.
so what comes first? Do you create the character in your mind, then make the look for him, or do you come up with the look and then give it characteristics?
Characteristics as far as like what he's gonna wear and stuff.
Well, what they're gonna wear and look like.
No, like when I'm making my characters, like when I was making these ones up, I wanted this guy to be like a regular guy, not real big.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just figured I'd give him like a sweatshirt and stuff. With Debria, I wanted her to be like seductive looking, so that was what I started with. But other people, like if I'm going to do work for them, they'll give me kind of like characteristics of what they're going to go off of. Like they'll tell me like they kind of want him to look like a jerk, different color shirt, what he's going to look like,
So if you make something for somebody, what's the best way to get a hold of you to have you draw something for them?
Then the best way to get a hold of me is through Instagram. Like I get those messages fairly quick, and I respond to those ones really quick.
Cool.
So yeah, Instagram more than anything.
I'll put a link to your Instagram and Facebook in the. Oh, there you go.
Pretty much what he's saying is that he's gonna make a Get Nerdy with Me comic book about us. So totally, thank you so much, Fox. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, that would actually
so
be
awesome.
Really funny. Domingo coming in with the hammer.
Yeah.
I mean,
and have the hammer doing his Barry White voice.
You might not be able to find Domingo on the
Hey, I'm right here. I'll be right here. I'll be
Leprechaun
I'll
running.
be there. Hey.
Why you always wait for that man's height? That's so cold.
Every
I'm
page,
tall and
every page of Domingo will be loading.
That's messed up.
that That was just a few times on the show.
That's good. That's good.
A few times
With
on
the
the
little
show.
"that was easy" button in my hand.
No, you don't need that. You don't need that.
I hope you never find an easy button.
Oh, I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get it.
Oh, I used to
Uh,
know somebody had one. It's annoying.
do y'all have any?
Oh,
Do you have any other questions for Mike?
yeah, I actually do. There's not that many. You know how like people they get signed on to like DC or Marvel. What about for like you, Joey, and others who are independent? What do they have to do to, or is the aim to try to get to a bigger industry that's the comic book industry, or to try to create your own, be your own indie and create your own like I guess team or whatnot? I don't know.
Well, see, like indie, as far as I know, is like really taking off. Like that's like the main thing to be at. That's why it's really hurtful that the convention shut down, because that's like the biggest platform for people to push their independent comics.
Yeah.
As far as like Marvel and DC, like I mean, it sounds all well and cool and everything, but I wouldn't really want to be on those platforms. I would want to go through someone that lets you keep the rights to your comic, like maybe like Image or somebody. Yeah.
And your probably your freedom too, because they probably want you to structure it a certain way, and you probably lose a lot of your freedom as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of publishers have a lot of different rules, anyways. So, like, if you submitted your first issue to like Image or something like that, they'd want to see your entire layout of your comic from the beginning to the end, how many issues it's going to be.
Gotcha.
You know, before they even consider publishing you. But getting published would be really cool. But there is a big community out there of people that support each other as far as independent comics.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Along with that question, where do you want to take it personally?
Personally, man, I would like to get published. Would be great, but really, I just want to. My next step is to try to print out My Deadly Love and get those things, and I want to push those at Comic Cons and different conventions, and then once that name gets out, then start going in with a whole series on that side. Because it'd be really cool if you already have a big fan base built up on that comic series.
Right.
So then when you do get picked up by a publisher, you already have a fan base. So it'll be really easy for a publisher to pick you up.
So for future note, all of this started here first.
Yeah.
Right here. Get nerdy.
I mean, it really did. I mean, I never considered doing conventions until Tyler and Dave forced me to.
The day stare. I don't know what it looks like right now.
I'm telling you, day stare would do things to you, man. It's like it's weird, man. It'll freak you out.
Well, Mike, do you have time to stick around with the rest of the show?
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's hang out.
Cool.
Get nerdy with me.